Hey, Shana Tova to all of you who I haven't seen over the new year. It's a pleasure to get to say a Dvar Torah in the new year, hopefully a new beginnings of new blessings. Today is a day called Tzom Gedalia, which is the fast of Gedalia. We fast, we say Slichot. The reason is because in the time of Nebuchadnezzar, when the Babylonians exiled the Jewish people from the holy land of Israel, and they send them to Babylon, there was a man named Gedalia, who the Jews brought from out of town, who the Jews brought to live there, and the Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians, allowed him to be like the caretaker and the king for the Jewish people on behalf of the Babylonians. And he started slowly bringing people who were exiled but weren't in Babylon, but were on the periphery, were coming back to Israel. And together they were trying to rebuild all the destruction that happened. And then one time, it was right before Rosh Hashanah, and Gedalia heard a rumor that there was this Jew, Ishmael, who was trying and wanted to assassinate him, because he was jealous that Gedalia became this, so to speak, king under the Babylonians and was able to be the leader. But Gedalia didn't believe it. And Gedalia said it's impossible. And he refused to have him killed for treason because he didn't believe what they were telling him. And on Rosh Hashanah, Ishmael and 10 men came officially to celebrate the holiday with Gedalia. And as they were celebrating the holiday with Gedalia, they assassinated, they murdered this great man, Gedalia. And it became a fast day amongst the Jewish people. One of the reasons we fast is, of course, because it's right before Rosh Hashanah, right before Yom Kippur, between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's a good time to fast. But also because it brings to us one of the painful realities of us as Jews. That sometimes, as the prophet Isaiah said, that our destructors, our destroyers, come from within. Those who hurt us the most are our own people. Here was Ishmael, a Jewish man, who ended up killing Gedalia. And what happened was all the Jews that lived there had to be exiled again. And the Jews weren't able to have a settlement in the land of Israel till the end of the Babylon exile, which was 70 years later. And we fast because it's the time for us to take stock of that and to remember that the times we live in now, the pain to see so much friction and so much animosity, and especially and also amongst the Jewish people. This day is a day to remind us of how much destruction, hate, and non-tolerance could bring from one to the other. And that brings me to the other thing. As Rosh Hashanah entered, I turned my phone off. I look at my phone the moment before Shabbos, the moment before Rosh Hashanah, and there was no news. And then when I came to Shul on Rosh Hashanah morning, right here in our tent, which I'll speak about soon, someone gave me the news that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG as she was so lovingly known, passed away. And RBG was an amazing woman, a proud Jew, who was so proud of her faith. In fact, in her office, in the Supreme Court, RBG had a mezuzah, a gold mezuzah case with a mezuzah inside. And she once told these girls that were visiting from a seminary in New York, Shulamit, a Jewish, an observant school, that the reason why she had it was because around the holiday season, they would come and everyone would put wreaths on the doors. And this was her way of saying, not my territory, this is my territory, and don't put a wreath. I'm Jewish and I'm proud of it. She was the daughter of immigrants from Ukraine. In her office on the 3 walls, she had 3 big words that said, Tzedek, Tzedek, Tirdof. Justice, justice, I shall pursue. Which is the words that she tried to embody, and we all Jews try to embody. And in fact, I think it was last year when she opened up the Supreme Court, she was wearing her famous gold around her neck, and she had like her shawl or a scarf that she wore, and she had the collar which said Tzedek. It was emboldened with the words in Hebrew, Tzedek. And You know that there's a law in the Supreme Court that if the first day of a session, the first Monday of the month, where they start a new session is Yom Kippur, then they don't have court. And the reason was because Ruth Bader Ginsburg, together with Justice Breyer, together they lobbied the Supreme Court to do that. So she was an extremely proud Jew. But something that always touched me, and I know a lot of people didn't like it on the right and the left, was I remember when a little while before Justice Scalia died, I read about how Justice Scalia and Justice Ginsburg were very close friends, and they celebrated all holidays together. And it always touched me because we live in a time of politics and a time that this friction is so strong that people feel that they can't be friends or they can't celebrate with someone that has a different opinion than them. And the tolerance level in our country is so low. And usually, the more people say they're tolerant, the less they actually are tolerant. And Justice Ginsburg was someone who, although was so idealistic and had such goals and ideas of how she felt the Constitution should be explained and interpreted and how she felt this country should be, yet she was able to celebrate the most intimate times of holidays with someone who ideologically was totally opposed to her, yet they remained friends. And it's something that we lack so much. You know, the word tzedakah, which means to give charity, really comes from the root word of tzedek, which means, as I just mentioned, which means justice. And it's because the Torah has instilled within us Jews that giving charity and looking after those most vulnerable, the poor, those who can't afford the things and the luxuries that we have, when we give them, it's not charity, it's justice. That's what's supposed to be done. You know, it says that Rabbi Yehuda, the great sage who wrote the Mishnah, used to respect the wealthy. And the question is, why did he respect the wealthy? And he said, because if God entrusted his money with them, I respect them, that they're going to do the right thing. You see, when God gifts us and blesses us with the things we need, we just become caretakers for it. We're not giving away our own, we're giving away that which is God. Justice and charity is really the same thing, because to give charity is justice. And that's what Ruth Bader Ginsburg embodied in her life. And it's sad that it's just a day after and our country's back to regular politics, fighting about who will replace her and not celebrating the great life of this remarkable woman. May her soul, may her neshama have an aliyah, and may her work and her life goals continue of tzedek, of justice, of kindness for each and every human being that God created. Just a short thought about our holiday season. So I'm sitting out here in one of the tents that we put up for the high holidays. We put up two, and we led simultaneous services. I led one with Chazan Mendel, and in the other we had Dr. Zach DeFillin and Cantor Chazan Ezra Weber, who were remarkable. And we did two simultaneous services, and then I did shifts. We did the main service, I started at 8 a.m., and then we finished by 10:45, and then 11:15 we had a shift, 12:30, and then another one, and then the second day the same, and we did a huge Tashlich service for a few hundred people. Ironically, you know, Murphy's Law, it's gorgeous outside now. Tomorrow's going to be 80 degrees, but Rosh Hashanah morning at 8 a.m., on Sunday morning and Saturday morning, it was frigid. Your toes could freeze. Yet we had 75 people in this tent, and we had 50 in the other tent celebrating and happy to be there. We all wore our masks the whole time. We were social distance, but we craved the human touch. We craved to touch the divine. We craved to come close to God and to celebrate. And throughout the day, on the first day, we had over 300 people who came to celebrate Rosh Hashanah. And the second day the same, we had shofar, and then at the park there were hundreds of people, and everyone spread out, and everyone wore their masks. And it reminded me what an amazing people we are, what an amazing community we are. And under such circumstances, when we gave up a lot of things, we maybe didn't go on vacations, some people didn't go to the beaches, some people don't go to the shopping stores, they Instacart because they don't want to be in the stores. Some people's children aren't in school, but we made an effort in a safe outdoor way, although it wasn't comfortable, to be able to celebrate Rosh Hashanah. do the same for Yom Kippur. And you know what? Many years we come to shul and someone might think, oh, this guy came to shul because of the social aspect. All his friends are there. They sit next to their friends. They kibitz. Or we come to shul because it's nice and comfortable and the cantor singing so beautifully. But this year we knew why people really came. They didn't come for the social mingling because there really wasn't any. They didn't come for the comfort because there was no comfort. It was cold and they were sitting in masks. They didn't come for the cantor because although he sang beautifully, it was outdoors and they were frigid. They came because they wanted to connect to God, because they wanted to be one with their Creator, and they wanted to celebrate the new year and start off on a good foot with God. And hopefully, I pray that Hashem blesses each and every one of you and us, and we be blessed with a year of health and happiness and prosperity for us, for our community, for all of Israel, for the entire United States, and for everyone in this world. Have a great day. See you soon.